महिलांनी संसाधन व्यवस्थापनामध्ये नेहमीच महत्त्वाची भूमिका बजावली आहे. पाणी आणि घरगुती संसाधन व्यवस्थापनामध्ये त्यांची पारंपरिक भूमिका अत्यंत महत्त्वाची आहे. योग्य माहिती व संधी मिळाल्यास त्यांची ही भूमिका पुढे निभावू शकतात, असे ज्येष्ठ पर्यावरण तज्ज्ञ व गोखले इन्स्टिट्यूट ऑफ पॉलिटेक्निक्स आणि इकॉनॉमिक्सच्या शाश्वत विकास केंद्राचे संचालक डॉक्टर गुरुदास नुलकर यांनी व्यक्त केले. द एम्पावरर फाउंडेशन्सतर्फे पर्यावरणाचे महत्त्व व शाश्वत विकासाची गरज या विषयावर डेक्कन जिमखाना क्लब हाऊस येथे आयोजित करण्यात आलेल्या व्याख्यानात ते प्रमुख पाहुणे म्हणून बोलत होते. द एम्पावरर फाउंडेशनचे संस्थापक आणि प्रमुख विश्वस्त भाषातज्ञ संदीप नुलकर हे होते. तसेच खजिनदार ऋषिकेश अत्रे, संचालिका रुपाली शिंदे आगाशे, सहसंचालिका तन्मयी खरे उपस्थित होत्या.
So at some point they might be required to pick one, and which I thought was very unfair. Apart from this, I have probably interacted with women from the age of say 8 or 10 girls to 70, 80, and there seems to be a consistent thread of sacrifice, of having given up something for the greater good. And I thought that this was pretty unfair as a society. So the desire to do something for girls, especially girls, because you kind of fix the problem before it begins, that was very strong, and thereby I think the idea was always to start something for girls. Now, these are just pictures so that you don't have to look at me and you can look at something better. So yeah, so I think initially what we also realized that if being a woman, being a girl is difficult, being a woman or a girl from a underprivileged community is even tougher, as in it makes your journey that much tougher, and that is why we kind of decided to focus primarily on underprivileged girls, and that's how I think we came up with our first program. Now, again, the second question I've been asked a lot is, so from day one, we have focused on quality, we have never focused on quantity. So if you ask me today, if you ask me 10 years later, I don't think we'll ever be able to say we have impacted 100,000 women or maybe lakhs and thousands of women. But the reason is there was this story that it's actually a starfish story, which was narrated to me by someone who was very kind of had a deep impact and influence on me when I was in college, Nirmala Purandare. Baba Saheb Purandare's wife. She herself was a social worker, and at some point she used to manage the Vidyarthi Sahayak Samiti. And we used to work quite closely for some months, and she told me that once someone asked her that you started this hostel, how many people stay in this hostel? Maybe 100. So what's the impact? And that's where the starfish story really fits in, where there's this little child who's trying to throw starfish back into the water, and someone asks him that, why are you doing this? There are so many starfish on the seashore, and what difference is it making? So he just merrily picks up one more starfish, throws it back, and says that it made a difference to this one. So I think that's the spirit with which we move forward to kind of impact very deeply and in every aspect of life, fewer girls, and make them more capable and competent. Here we launched last year in December, 15th of December, 14th of December, and the initial approach was to just reach out to friends, family, and raise some money, find some underprivileged girls, and basically start doing something rather than thinking, just start doing. I just happen to be someone who has a little more spare time at his disposal, so I'm just doing it on behalf of so many people. But I think it's a collective effort, and without the contribution of each one of you, this wouldn't have been possible. So the only on that area. So maybe it's 100 girls and responsible citizens. So I think that's the base with which we started, and that's why we started off by providing healthcare to every single girl. Every single girl who's onboarded gets a 5 lakh rupees cashless medical, which ensures that her health is not neglected, because usually in a family where there is always a shortage of money, usually the girl child is the one who's going to get neglected, health-wise and otherwise. We also made sure that every single girl is absolutely forced to participate in either a sport or some form of art, be it drawing, painting, dancing, anything, and or a sport, whatever they really like. Extracurricular activities for them, and skilling is also something that we do as we move forward. So this, every single girl, once she's onboarded, she goes through a very comprehensive medical checkup, and depending on the medical checkup and the blood work, they're given all kinds of supplements and medicine, whatever is needed. And then of course there is academic intervention. Priya Pete, who's here, you can interact with her. She is someone who's very passionate about academics, and she has actually held our hand and made sure that every girl gets the academic intervention that she needs, because their parents are not really in a position to understand where the gaps are. So that is the job Priya does. So last year we conducted this. This was our first activity. Today is our fourth activity. Every quarter we have an activity. We started with this workshop, which was a menstrual health workshop. Thanks to Danan Pathak, we had a team from the command hospital come here and train the girls on everything that they needed to know about menstrual health. We also gave them an year's supply of sanitary pads, and we followed that up by a first aid workshop, because again, usually when you come from a background where money is in short supply, you tend to overlook this that you can think of. She's 10 years old, she's 87 kilos, she has a metabolic syndrome, she's on BP medication, she's on diabetic medication, she practically has, like I said, every disease in the family. So I think more children. And the other one is spoken English, a class that I started conducting about a couple of months ago. And now, very recently, literally a few days ago, we have Shilpa Deshmukh who has joined, and I was 1 lakhs. Thank you.
For today's lecture. Here at Empower Her, while we do aim at raising financially independent and able girls, we also aim at raising responsible citizens. And while there are multiple aspects involved in becoming one, awareness regarding environmental issues and sustainability is definitely one of the key points in today's day and age. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce our speaker for the evening, Dr. Gurudas Nulkar. Dr. Gurudas Nulkar is a professor and the director of the Center for Sustainable Development at the Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics in Pune. And he also serves as a visiting professor at IIT Kanpur. His research and work address some of India's most pressing sustainable development challenges, with a particular focus on ecological restoration, climate resilience, and community-driven sustainability initiatives.
For agreeing to bear with me, and one of the things that we Nulkar as a clan have is that we are able to send very subtle messages to the others. And so Sandeep's message that he has a very short listening patience it hasn't fallen on deaf ears. So I'm not going to take too much time, right, Sandeep? So Sandeep knows I'm a professor, and I don't stop until I hear the bell. But this time, Sandeep, you just start waving at me whenever you feel that I'm kind of exceeding. So thank you so much for again inviting me. And the topic which we kind of thought that we'd share my experience around was about water and gender, as well as sustainability issues. So let me start by asking you a question. If I were to ask you, what is the defining characteristic of our planet compared to the other planets, what would you say? 50%. Yeah, I mean, obvious, right? I mean, we have a topic that we're going to discuss about water, right? Can you qualify water? Life. Potable, life.
Without color.
Without color? Yeah, I mean, of course, water is without color. The most important difference between Earth and every other planet in our solar system is that we are the only planet who has water in liquid form. Right? All the other planets have got water either in solid form or in gaseous form in their atmosphere. It's present, it's omnipresent. We have water vapor which is omnipresent in the entire universe in various degrees, not exactly in the same degree as we have it on Earth, but that. So the next obvious question is, why Earth? What do you think?
Because of the atmosphere and optimal distance from the sun.
Well, atmosphere every other planet has, but the second answer is spot on. We hit the orbital jackpot. We are at the exact distance from...
With gifts that reflect these very values, an earth-friendly planter and an eco-friendly plantable stationery set, which includes a handmade seed paper notepad, seed pens and seed pencils. We now invite our girls to come up one by one, and I would request Dr. Nulkar to come up on stage and present our beneficiaries.
That Dr. Nulkar.
देणार आहोत. तर मी आता एक हिची नावं घेते आणि डॉक्टर नुलकर तुम्हाला ते प्रेझेंट करतील. ठाकूर गायत्री लावण्या पवार पायल अभंगे समीक्षा मित्रे श्रावणी बोबडे सुप्रिया रोकडे
सगळा कॅमेरामध्ये माझं नाव संदीप नूलकर, एम्पॉवर फाउंडेशनचा मी प्रमुख विश्वस्त आहे. एम्पॉवर फाउंडेशन ही आर्थिकदृष्ट्या दुर्बल मुलींसाठी काम करते आणि त्यांची सर्वांगीण विकास होईल या दृष्टीने प्रयत्नशील आहे. आणि त्याच कारणामुळे आम्ही अनेक कार्यक्रम त्यांच्यासाठी राबवतो. हिरकणी योजना ही जी आमची आहे त्याच्या अंतर्गत त्यांचं शिक्षण, त्यांचं हेल्थकेअर या सगळ्या गोष्टींची काळजी घेतली जाते. त्यांना स्पोर्ट्स असेल किंवा काही एक्स्ट्रा करिक्युलर ॲक्टिव्हिटीज असतील तर त्याच्यामध्ये त्यांना वाव मिळावा आणि त्या कुठेही पैशामुळे मागे राहू नयेत याची खबरदारी त्या कार्यक्रमामार्फत आम्ही घेतो. आत्ता दुसरा आम्ही जो कार्यक्रम एक लॉन्च केलेला आहे तो पाठशाळा प्लस हा कार्यक्रम आहे, ज्याच्यामध्ये प्रामुख्याने जे वर्गात मागे पडतात मुलं, त्यांना इंग्रजी येत नसल्यामुळे त्यांना कुठेतरी एक न्यूनगंड आल्यासारखं होतं. तसं होण्याची वास्तविक काही गरज नाही आहे, पण त्यांच्या डोक्यात असं थोडंसं कधीतरी तो भाव येऊ शकतो आणि पुढे जाऊन एक उपजीविकेसाठी सुद्धा इंग्रजी आलेलं काही वाईट नाही या दृष्टीने पाठशाळा प्लसमध्ये आम्ही इंग्रजी, स्पोकन इंग्रजी हा एक विषय आहे आणि गणिताचा पाया पक्का करून देणं, ज्या कारणाने ही मुलं मागे राहणार नाही, तर ह्याच्यावर काम होतं. आणि एक तिसरा विमेन इन स्पोर्ट्स हा एक आता आम्ही लॉन्च केलेला आहे, ज्याच्यामध्ये आर्थिक दुर्बल मुलींना ही स्वप्न बघण्याचा अधिकार आहे. त्यांनाही खेळात जर का रुची असेल तर त्यांना ते पैशाअभावी त्यांना खेळता येत नाही हे होऊ नये याच्यासाठी आम्ही त्यांना मदत करतो. सो असं हे साधारणतः एम्पॉवर फाउंडेशनचं काम आहे. दर 3 महिन्यातनं एकदा आमचा एक कार्यक्रम असतो. हा वार्षिक कार्यक्रम होता. आजचा विषय होता पर्यावरण आणि खास करून त्याच्यामध्ये आमचा केंद्रबिंदू हा पाणी हा होता आज, कारण पाणी हा विषय सगळ्यांनाच महत्त्वाचा आहे आणि मुलींना फार लहान वयामध्ये ही जाणीव होणं फार गरजेचं आम्हाला वाटतं की पाण्याचं महत्त्व काय आहे आणि बायकांचं स्थान काय आहे पाणी या दृष्टीने, त्या काय त्याच्यामध्ये योगदान देऊ शकतात. सो या दृष्टीने आम्ही हा कार्यक्रम त्यांच्यासाठी आयोजित केला होता. आणि त्याचं प्रामुख्याने कारण असंही आहे की नुसतंच आम्हाला आर्थिकदृष्ट्या दुर्बल मुलींना पुढे आणून त्यांना आर्थिकदृष्ट्या स्वावलंबी करायचं एवढं एकच दृष्टिकोन नसून एक जबाबदार नागरिक म्हणून सुद्धा त्यांना समाजामध्ये आम्हाला आणायचं आहे आणि त्या जबाबदाऱ्या पार पाडण्याकरता अनेक पैलू त्याच्यामध्ये येतात. पण त्याच्यामध्ये अशा ज्या काही समाजात आपल्याला ज्या महत्त्वाचे बाबी आहेत त्याच्याबद्दल त्यांना माहिती होणं, त्या दृष्टीने आजचा हा कार्यक्रम आम्ही पर्यावरणावर केला होता, पाण्याबद्दल.
तर तुम्ही आर्थिक जी मदत लागते या विद्यार्थिनींसाठी वगैरे तर ती कशी तुम्ही म्हणजे उपलब्ध करता?
प्राथमिक त्याचा स्रोत जो आहे तो नातेवाईक, मित्र, स्नेही, आप्तेष्ट हेच आहेत आत्ता तरी. आणि जसं जसं आमचं काम वाढतंय तसं तसं अजून लोक जोडली जात आहेत. 2 खास करून मला नावं इथे घ्यावीशी वाटतात. ते म्हणजे एक सिद्धार्थ महाडिक हे लो प्लेझिर नावाचं जे रेस्टॉरंट आहे प्रभात रोडवर, तर त्यांनी एक कल्पना काढली की त्यांच्याकडे जितक्या डिश विकल्या जातात दर महिन्याला तेवढं तितके रुपये ते आम्हाला देतील, पर डिश 1 रुपया. तर अशा माध्यमातून पैसे उभे राहत आहेत. तसंच योगशायरचे वरद देशपांडे जे आहेत त्यांनीही अशीच मदत आम्हाला केलेली आहे. आणि मला असं वाटतं की जर का पुण्यामधले 30-40 जर का रेस्टॉरंट जरी एकत्र आले आणि त्यांनी या पद्धतीने जर का मदत केली, आम्हालाच असं नाही, आम्हालाही करावी, अजून ज्यांना करायची इच्छा असेल त्यांना करावी, तर बऱ्यापैकी निधी उभा राहून एक भरीव आणि सकारात्मक काम होऊ शकतं.
आपण शहरवासीय किती भाग्यवान असतो. आपल्याला जवळजवळ 150 लिटर दर डोई दररोज पाणी मिळतं. पण आपण यातलं किती पाणी वापरू शकतो? आपण साधारण एक 3-4 लिटर पाणी पिऊ शकतो, त्याचा स्वयंपाक करू शकतो. गेला बाजार 10 लिटर पाणी आपण वापरून संपवू शकतो.